So we had such an interesting experience the other day, and it would be so easy to dismiss it. But one of the things that self-reg teaches us as parents is stop and pause and reflect and, just try to understand what's going on here. So here's what happened. We have a 16-year-old son, and he desperately wanted a pair of running shoes. And they were expensive, and he was in a state of acute anxiety about these shoes. So, as will happen when you're a little stretched as a parent, we gave in and
Yeah.
ordered the shoes. And then the next anxiety that happened was it had to be super express. And it was like another $70 to have these shoes tomorrow.
Wow.
So anyways, we no to the Super Express, and that caused a fair bit of grief. But we thought, well, I'm not sure how I rationalized it all, but yeah, I guess, thinking, well, it's Christmas and
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
kids, blah, blah. So the shoes came, and he was so excited. And the first thing he did was he took a picture of the shoes and shared it on Snapchat. Okay. And then the next thing he did was he disappears up
Mm-hmm.
into his room and comes down 15 minutes later with the next pair of shoes that he had to buy. And absolutely, and we were going,
He just turned 16.
yeah,
Need we say more?
and so I was scratching my head thinking, well, there's something a little bizarre in all of
Yeah, yeah.
this. But now what you learn with self-reg is you start to think about the why. And so what was going on here was I won't go into the full details. You have to do foundations to get the full
Mm-hmm.
story. But the shoe companies have figured out how to trigger
Yeah.
dopamine. And so what happens is they trigger the dopamine, and dopamine makes a kid desperately crave this thing. And the interesting thing about dopamine driven behavior is the reward is actually irrelevant. The reward, when we talk about the reward, it might be sugar, it might be food, it might be a pair of shoes. It's not about the reward. The reward gives a bit of a sedating effect, but not a lot. It's really the craving that's the issue here. And here's the key. That craving is a stress. It's called the stress of desire. It's a huge stress for a child. And the reason why they so desperately need the shoes is to stop that stress. If you look at your child when you have one of these experiences, what you'll notice is their whole body is
Mm-hmm.
they are in a state that of extreme arousal and tension. And the reason why it becomes so desperate to get the shoe or whatever it is simply to have that release that comes when the craving is satisfied. The hard part for parents today is that children are exposed everywhere to the stress of desire, and the stress of desire can be manipulated by something as seemingly trivial as the beep telling you another Snapchat or
Wow.
yes. So this is a problem, and we will go into this problem. We do go into this problem in foundations because it has all kinds of ramifying effects, and not least of which the damn shoes are expensive.
Yeah.
But there's other effects too. And one of the effects that we will talk about in the future is how this constant pushing on the dopamine button reduces the child's motivation to engage in healthy experiences where, let's say, it's exercise or studying. So there's an equation here that's operating. The experience itself is not that great. The after effects are even more concerning for parents. So we've got to figure this one out as parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an important one. So you'll hear from us more on that in the future.
I'm still fighting this one.